there, welcome back to the Matt Greer Music Channel. My name is Matt, I'm your host today, and this is the second video on my series on the PO-33 K.O pocket sampler. This is a tips and tricks series. This is not meant to teach you everything from the basics. This is kind of meant to expand your thinking on this device and try to come up with unique concepts to use it to improve or be more experimental, I guess, with your music. So today I want to talk about two things. Number one, we're going to talk about unique sample sources and how you can use those in your beats to add unique textures and things that are a little outside of the box. Secondly, we're going to talk about how you can alternate drum banks for different breakdowns and bridges and things in your tracks to make them have more life and more feel to them, so it's not kind of just the same drum sounds through your whole song. So first off, we're going to talk about a track that I put up earlier this week where I sampled a bird, and I'll put a link here at the top of the screen here so you can go and hear that. I recommend that you do, because a lot of this will make sense after you heard it. But basically, this is where you take unique sample sources and you cut them up inside this pocket operator, and it adds unique textures and rhythms and sounds to your beats. So basically, there was this video going around on Facebook of this bird, and it was quote-unquote beatboxing. I don't know if it was beatboxing exactly, but it was making these really unique rhythmic sounds. And I always keep this near my computer, so when I come across something unique, I can kind of load it in there and start doing things with it. And one thing I really like about this device is that it will listen to a sample as it's played into, in particular, the drum banks, and it will automatically chop those sounds based on the transients. Now, if you're not familiar with a transient, if you're looking at like a wave file on a computer and you see those peaks and valleys, those are the transients. So this device listens to those and tries to chop up the sounds based on those transients. Some things it does better than others, but I like to just put rhythmic or sounds with a lot of transients into it and just let it auto chop and see what comes out of it. So what I did was I caught that bird and I put it in here. And I didn't bother trying to trim any of this or anything like that. You could do that if you really wanted to get particular. You could really dial these sounds in. I think I did pitch it a little bit and add a little filter. I use the filter all the time, mainly to try to get rid of noise. But yeah, I put this on there. And then I kind of just put it with everything else into this beat. So we'll play it just a little bit, not the whole thing, but... Okay, so that gives you an idea of what I did with that. So that's one example. You know, you just find something that's unusual. Yeah, that's something to think about. Think about trying to find things that are not necessarily normal for music and sample them. It could be your washing machine, the air conditioner. I've sampled a sound in the past where it was the sound of fish on a reef, and I listened to it and it was very rhythmic and interesting, and I'll put a link to that one up here as well so that you can hear that song if you want to, because that's another example. One other thing that we put on here in this same piece that I made was a voice. Yeah, there it is. Same kind of thing. I just sampled this singing straight into here. It wasn't even the same tempo as what I was working with, but I just put it right on there. Anyway, you can see that you kind of chop that up automatically. Now, this one I did have to trim a little bit because there was some tails and clicks into it. But yeah, very simple, very straightforward. But you just put it right on there, and then you've got something you need to work with. Now, that's the first recommendation, I guess. It's a tip, something to think about. The second thing I'm going to talk about here is loading very different drum kits onto the same set of banks, so that when you get to certain parts of your song, you could add a bridge or a breakdown or something, and it adds just like a lot of life to a beat. So let me show you first what I've got here in terms of drums. So I only put a few different drum sounds here, and so they're not all filled with something. Now, if you did a whole like 16-beat bar, it would try to chop that onto every button, but I've got... There's an open hat. Yeah, there it is. Okay. Anyway, so that was the main drum beat of this song, which you just heard there a second ago. Now I wanted something for a breakdown, kind of like I don't know if you call it a bridge really, but just something to kind of break up different loops of the track. And so what I did was put in, actually I sampled a Casio VL tone, which is like the keyboard that was used for Trio's Da Da Da. It's got that doop deek doop deek. Anyway, let's see, let me find it. Yeah, that's it. So I put that on there too. I put that on here so there would be a different drum beat to go against the normal drum beat through the rest of the track. So I've got this little pattern here that goes. And that's different than like the main patterns that are. Again, you can hear the bird that's in there. So the idea with that is that, you know, let's see, we might have, let's do 4 of that one. This is kind of a bridge here. I'm going to put that in. That's the one with the VL tone drums. I'm going to put that in as a breakdown, and then it's going to switch to this other pattern. And you'll see this is kind of how I compose songs on this thing. I think about having different sections as I'm writing, and then I just kind of work with it until I figure out a flow that I like. So let's listen to it real quick. It's like a bridge. Here's the breakdown coming up. Okay, so you see what I mean there. I've got the main drums and I've got this kind of side set of drums that I use to sort of add some variance to the flow of the track. And it's very effective, I find, just changing your drum sounds. And you could literally copy the same kit, put it into a different pitch, and then maybe automate some filter over it and achieve the same thing. So you don't necessarily have to have more than one drum sound. You can just use this device to make different drum sounds of the same kit. So yeah, that's my tips and tricks for today. Just trying to get, just trying to share my experience so that folks can maybe get inspired, think about this device in different ways. And some of this, is not just for the Pocket Operator. You could use this on really any sampler. So just, yeah, think outside of the box. Think about sounds that are atypical to sampling. So, here's an example real quick. So Timbaland, who everybody knows, he's a huge hip-hop producer. He's had a ton of hits. He does this a lot. Like that Aaliyah song that was in the 90s, he's got that baby sound that's in there. That was really unique when that came out. And then I think it was Genuine had a track with like a Godzilla roar on it. Those things were odd, but they added this unique flavor. So, yeah, think about that kind of stuff. When you hear a unique sound, maybe carry this around in your pocket. Think, oh, that's a cool like rhythmic kind of machine clacking thing. I'm going to see what I can do with that. Put it on here and just start sequencing it to a beat, and you might end up with something really cool. So anyway, yeah, that's me for today. I hope you dug this content. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments. If you haven't already, like, subscribe. If you do want to support me, again, I don't do Patreon or anything like that. Nothing wrong with it. It's just not my style. But if you do want to support me, I've got albums out there. Link will be in the description. I'd be honored if you at least just check them out. So yeah, that's it. Until next time, I hope everybody has a great day, and I will see you then.